I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the after show for Food Network's Worst Cook in America. And I am your man, the Tyler Tyson, and I am joined. Now, I think all of these ladies are food addicts, but I am joined by Sanaa, Erika, and my girl, Elyse. And we're going to be breaking this episode down for you guys. So what did y'all think of this overall episode? We'll start with Elyse. What did you think of this episode?
I loved it because I love to bake. I love to cook. I love everything on the Food Network. And this one was really interesting because it was the celebrity edition. So I like the fact that we got to see that they're not really such great cooks, especially because you don't get to see a lot of the behind the scenes in the celebrities' lives. So we don't get to see a lot of times them in the kitchen. So I'm definitely glad that I got to see this. Maybe they weren't so excited about the fact that they got to show this on national television, but I can't wait to get into this.
I can't wait to jump through all of these horrible cooks because all of them look like they need some help. Erika, what did you think about this episode?
I really enjoyed it. I actually think I preferred the second half or the second part more so than the first. I think I also, like, I'm a comedian, so some of the people I've already seen like on the road, or I've seen them in festivals and stuff. So I'm like, okay, do more cooking and less of your act, like to be 100. But once, I think once Tyler was like, okay, take this serious, and people start to really focus on trying to do a meal, I think it was more natural, and I liked it better the second half, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And Sanaa, I know you got a lot to say because you had me rolling before we even went live. So what is your favorite part of this episode?
Oh my goodness. My favorite part had to be my girl, Robin. I was literally rooting for her, especially because she's a fellow Black sister. But, I love the fact that
you were holding her to a higher standard. That's what that was. You
I
like,
really was.
Girl, you better.
Totally was. And I'm so glad she used seasoning. But we're going to get into all of that later.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Yeah, seasoning is good, but you got to let your clams open up. I mean, everybody knows if they still shut, then they not good.
It's a no-go. All right, so let's jump into all of these people. We can start with Robin. Since you brought her up, let's go ahead and get her out of the way. Since she was the better of the worst. She what did y'all think about her? I'm trying to remember what was her first meal? Was her first meal that gumbo stuff? The fish with the okay, and the clams that wouldn't open up.
Right.
What were you thinking? Because she's kind of high strung. She's all over the place. Elyse, what did you think of Robin?
Well, it's interesting because, like, you guys were talking about earlier how you see them in a different situation. So in this, she literally said that she has a fear of cooking, that her son wanted her to go on, and now she's regretting it. And she had like so much anxiety and angst being in the kitchen, and she was freaking out. I mean, they are at a time limit. So if I was in their shoes, I would probably feel the same way. I mean, I think she didn't do horrible. She just needs to, take it slow, kind of calm down, get her thoughts together. She was just kind of freaking out and having anxiety about everything.
I love Robin Givens from back in the day. I've been an old school fan. Like when I was a kid, she was like crutch that you watch. You like, I don't care how bad she is, how nasty she is. I love Robin Givens, but she's really high. She's really high strung. She's too much. Erika, what did you think of her performance?
Okay, well, so a couple things. One, as one of the few people who wasn't a comic, I appreciated that she wasn't like goofy the whole first 30, 45 minutes. So I was like, girl, you get a pass on that because you're not selling me corny jokes all the time. But I didn't realize, kind of like everybody was saying, I didn't realize like she crazy. So I was like, ooh, you might be able to be on the Real Housewives. Because she was so like, first of all, I don't watch Riverdale. I don't watch anything on OWN really that much. So I was like, she's still working? Go ahead. So I was very impressed. Like, I like the fact that I liked to find out more about what was going on with her. So that part I liked. I liked when she kind of brought in her son. She seemed very authentic with it and not like, as we heard the other people. And her dish, I mean, It was kind of crazy to try, but she pulled it off. I was like, okay, girl, you doing it, you know, because I was like, if you know how to cook, why would you try this? But it turned out great. So I actually liked her. Out of everybody, I liked her the most. But I don't know what kind of speed yoga she's doing, but I don't for a minute think she does yoga every day. Because I was like, girl, you need to meditate because you are like on 85. So whatever you're doing outside of yoga is messing up the flow. Because she was not, I mean.
It's funny. That was her response to everything. You need to chill out. Why do yoga? When you're not doing yoga now, you are extremely high strung.
Exactly. And you've been an actress for like 1 billion years. Why are you so nervous on camera right now? I'm confused.
Funny.
But I still love her. You know, ever since Mike Tyson, girl, I'm with you.
Listen, the fact that she was married to Mike Tyson should let us know already.
Exactly. Even if it was for 3 weeks. I still got you, girl. I got you.
Yeah. Now, I think it's weird that you would even attempt to make a fish stew. Like, I've made a lot of things. I ain't never made that. I've made gumbo.
Right.
Not a fish stew. So now, what did you think of Miss Givens?
Well, you know, let me just say, when it comes to the yoga, she probably does the same. She probably uses the same app I do to do the 15-minute yoga, and that only lasts for like about a good hour or two. And then after that, you back on 10, because I totally understand that, especially when the clock is ticking, it's a lot going on. You don't know where everything is. It's a lot at stake here. But I will say, you guys got to get in tune with Ambitions, okay? She is killing it on OWN. That's my show. So it was really so good. And
what show is that?
Ambitions.
Oh,
yes, it's on OWN. And her character there, like, they're polar opposites. So I was really happy I got to see her in her natural state, and like, this is who she really is in real life, because we all know she usually plays that like that mature sexy, you know, the grown and sexy, but I can still read you if I need to get you together. Like, she plays that. And so like to see her in like a fun environment, I loved it. It made me want to even watch Ambitions again and see, like, did they put up a new episode or something during this quarantine that I missed.
Exactly. I will say that I definitely agree with you. I feel like this is just what she needs. It's not you know, she couldn't do Dancing with the Stars or whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, this is gonna really kind of, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really digging her. So I think this could honestly, depending on how long she stays, spark something else in her, because she's bringing something kind of real to it, but kind of different and interesting. So I think it's gonna
like you said, I need her on reality TV. She needs to be on somebody's reality TV at all times.
She really does.
Yeah. So let's jump around to Bridget. You mentioned the whole nervousness. Bridget was making me nervous. Like, I understand people having a fear of the kitchen. I don't have it, so I can like empathize with them. But she's on like a whole, I mean, she's terrified in the kitchen. Alyssa, what did you think of Bridget, the comedian?
Well, I love the fact that she said that she got a new kitchen and she wants to cook for all her new friends. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you gotta invite us over too.
No, I just say that invitation. She don't have,
like, no,
she don't have to send that one. Forward it back.
I like how she was saying she was doing 2 chickens. I didn't really know what that meant at first. And then, you know, the ranch dip, and she just put it all in there. And I didn't really know where she was going with that. It was just like a huge bowl of something, and she was dipping the chicken in. Even the chef judges were kind of looking at her like she was a little bit crazy. And she was just so tense throughout the competition, like you guys mentioned earlier, because she was just, I don't want to undercook it. I don't want to undercook it. So I just think like a lot of them throughout this whole experience, they're just like all freaking out. And I'm thinking, like you guys said earlier, this is not their first time that they've been on national television. So, I mean, I get it that it's different because they're cooking, but like, pull yourselves together a little bit, people.
Yeah, and I've realized now for every show I have to bring pictures so that our audience can see what has me in this episode cracking up so much. So some of the funniest moments, I'll make sure we have pictures next time. But Erika, what did you think of Bridget, especially when she decided, instead of getting like the dry ranch rub that we use to get that ranch flavor in our food, she was going to use ranch dressing and marinate all of this unseasoned chicken in some ranch dressing?
Okay, so a couple things with Bridget. Like, first of all, as a side note, just, as I'm sure other people know, like, I think one of her very best friends is Amy Schumer. So I assume that's what she's going to try to be cooking for, who also has her own new cooking show. That's one thing. Second thing, I don't know if I really buy that she was that. I felt like half of that was acting or like part of her kind of like her shtick and stuff. I was like, girl, whatever. I felt like she was a little bit her, and then like the bananas. Some of it, I was like, you doing a little most to segue into a joke. That's one thing. But as far as her actual cooking, like, I think had she put some other seasoning, like, okay, whatever, you marinated in ranch. Had she marinated in ranch and then, or maybe that's what she tried to do. And then, like, I've made chicken with cornflake crumbs as a coating before. And that's why they were like, this could be good. I don't know why you put the chicken in the dip. That didn't make any sense. But as far as, you know what I'm saying? I feel like she had read some recipe a while back. It was like, okay, some stuff seemed like, okay, is this you for real? Or are you just making this
basically
like
you can't be this bad. You can't be this bad.
Like some of it, I'm like, okay, even if you don't really cook that much, what made you just put this in boiling water and then now you're putting it in like ranch dressing for people to dip in there? Like it didn't make enough logical sense for me to kind of stand behind it. But overall, I like her. I think she has a mixture of, kind of her little dirtiness because she's a very dirty comedian. So it's kind of interesting. I liked her flavor as far as her persona goes.
Yeah, I love her on the show. She still makes me she makes me hella nervous. Like she drives my anxiety up to a whole other level. And I'm just like, can somebody please pass her a J? Y'all, I'm sure y'all shot this in California. Like she needs to hit that at least once. So now what did you think of her in this marinated chicken with no seasoning?
Let me tell you this.
There it comes.
There's not enough stimulus checks on this earth to make me want to eat that chicken. I don't know what first of all, it reminded me of that horrible combination people want to do with crushing up Flamin' Hots, and then they put it on top of fried chicken and all this other stuff. No,
I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
It's very good on top of your lotus corn if you're making that, just so that y'all know.
and then what really got me is a couple things. One, why did you drench that chicken in the ranch dressing? I'm not even a ranch or sour cream kind of girl. So she would have just took me over the wall. I couldn't even taste it if I was the judge. Then did you guys catch though the color of the chicken when it came out of the water?
Oh, we caught it. Absolutely.
A white chicken. I ain't never seen chicken that white.
White.
Then the middle
But then she was pink, yes.
The middle
she was shredding
pink.
It
was
that was the part I was like, how did you boil it? I mean, I know it's not gonna have any seasoning, but how is it not cooked in boiling water?
I don't even know.
But hold on, let's not forget she was shredding the chicken. And what's the reality? The housewife that was on the show? Sonja came over and was like, "Oh, girl, how you get your chicken like that? Oh, that's the goal right there. You should always try to get your chicken like this." Like they were gassing her up. And like you said, the chicken was white and that wasn't even pink. That was almost like a burgundy color in the center.
I just don't understand. Like, through this whole show, I'm just like, she can't and then did you guys catch the part where she says something like, when she's in the kitchen during holidays, this reminds her and she just gets nervous. So she cooks on the holidays? I would just have to starve. I would starve myself.
Maybe her holiday cookie's better.
Nope.
Holiday.
Listen, the holidays is not the time for you to learn.
Holidays is not the time
for you to learn. No.
Holidays are not the time for you to try to figure stuff out. I remember during my Thanksgiving dinner one time, it wasn't bad, but during Black Thanksgiving, the sweet potatoes are a big part because the sweet potatoes and the combination with the macaroni and cheese is important. And my mama tried to, do the casserole and put like the cream. I said, we can't do this more. We cannot do this
Not today.
again. Like, it's not the time to practice.
Right.
And you know, and my mom was cooking this A1.
Not today, yeah.
Right. And my mom was cooking this A1. So it was just like, to see this woman say that she does this on the holidays. Oh no.
Okay, now, all right, now,
Get to the
Bridget's
present.
defense, what she said was, this reminded me when she's with her family and stuff. I assume she's in the kitchen with the other people and they're actually the ones cooking. And she just
be like, yeah.
Right, exactly. I felt like this was going to segue. I had a feeling that she had more time. This was going to segue into a bit about her crazy family. And I was like, oh Lord, please don't go there. Just work on your meal, girl. We don't need
From one crazy to another, let's go ahead and tackle Sonja trying to cook this lamb in the toaster. I don't even have the energy to break down everything that's wrong with Sonja because I just don't have it. So now you go right ahead.
Actually, I wasn't mad at her about the toaster oven. And because because do you have an air fryer and a toaster oven? Those are two of God's greatest gifts on this earth, because they just can get, it's healthy and stuff. But the thing is, the lamb had no type of season on it. It was left.
Here we go.
It was gone.
Here we go.
It was no season. And she must not have put it on the right temperature, you know. And then what was the aluminum foil antennas on the ends? I've never heard of that.
Alyssa, what do you think about cooking in a toaster oven, especially when you have all of these ovens?
Well, I mean, at the beginning of the episode, Johnny was handing out a lot of drinks. So I think she was more focused on drinking than she was actually cooking. And the fact that she just threw it in the toaster. Now, a lot of these celebrities, they have admitted that they've never cooked before, or they've kind of just maybe had like Easy Mac or something like that. So I'm like, can we really blame them that they're really bad at cooking? Because they always have their personal chefs or they order out or something. So the fact that she's like, oh, a toaster, this is like my home base. And he was like, well, just let her run with it. And I mean, she was so excited about the fact that Tyler, the head chef, was telling her, hey, just make sure it's not overcrowded in there. And she got so excited, like, oh, hey, let me pull this apart so it's not overcrowded, thinking that it was going to work really great. But I hope she doesn't bring that toaster out unless it's actually like a recipe that calls for a toaster, because that should have been something that she threw in the oven or on the grill, not something that she put in the toaster oven.
But did you catch the shade? Did you guys catch that shade that Anna threw?
Wait, which part though? Which part? Because the part where she's trying to push her business, is that the shade you're talking about? And that's what I was going to ask Erika, because I'm like, if anybody's thinking,
I thought. Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. I think y'all all wrong. First of all, I've watched Real Housewives of New York for years. So there was a whole season where Sonja was selling these toaster ovens. That was her brand. And supposedly she could cook everything in it. So had she not messed up, that would have been a moment for her. So I was like, girl, bring every toaster oven you got, make your money. You're not Bethany Frankel, you need your coins. So get up in here and do it.
Not Bethany.
So I was like, okay. But now what made it bad was, it's like, okay, because there was literally a season where all she talked about was this toaster oven and this was her new business and stuff. So, but we never really saw her cooking because, you know, whatever, she has help and whatever, how the show goes. That's another after show. But I was like, okay, this whole time I didn't realize she couldn't cook in one, because I was like, girl, you've been cooking in these toaster ovens for years. How do you not know that the lamb that you put in there was too thick anyway? So that was like, she may have seasoned it, but was raw on the inside. Like not even rare, like raw. So that was like, okay, why does Tyler have to tell you when you had your own line years ago of toaster ovens and been cooking for your daughter for years ovens? So that, I mean, I think like she had a good plan to promote her business, because that's why you're here. But
like, you have to be subtle with it. Like, you know, cook a side dish in the toaster oven. You ain't got time to be subtle. She almost got cut. She ain't got time to be subtle. Make your coins. You just got to be able to cook. In a toaster oven.
It's so crazy, because literally yesterday I walked past some lamb chops at Trader Joe's and I was like, "Ooh, this will taste real good." And then Well, I don't have that one yet, but I was gonna put it in my air fryer or in the oven. But I was just, I'm gonna come out with my air fryer line. That's what I'm gonna do. I learned from this. I'm gonna come out with an air fryer line. But
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, now I'm a little scarred after her lamb chops. I gotta let this go for like at least like
use the
2
oven.
weeks.
Use
2
the oven.
weeks. And then I'll go get the lamb chop.
I was about to say, I'm getting ready to buy a toaster oven next week. So whatever, she's not stopping me.
All right, let's talk about Wells Adams. So I didn't know anything about him. I still don't know that much about him, except for the fact that he's getting ready to marry the young lady from the oldest daughter on the show, Modern Family. But Alyssa, tell me a little bit about Wells Adams and what did you think of his performance on the show?
Well, it's funny because I think being on the reality show, he was on like The Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise. So it's kind of like he became a reality star overnight. And now he's engaged to a very famous actress. So I'm like, kudos to you. But the fact that he came on there and saying that this was his Portuguese lasagna that was passed down from his grandmother, then he wasn't sure if maybe it was an Italian recipe. He didn't even know how to make the recipe. And I'm thinking, you're going to come on a cooking show. You're using your grandmother's recipe. I'm pretty sure it's not the first time you've used your grandmother's recipe. Why are you fumbling with the recipe? He was really focused on the fact that he was the bartender on Bachelor in Paradise and Johnny was taking his position here. And I'm thinking, just focus on the recipe here because I think that it would come out great. However, when they all sat down to eat it, it was so funny to me that Brian says, like, I think somebody already ate mine because it was just such a mess. So they're like turning it upside down and it's sticking to the plate.
It looked disgusting.
I've never seen lasagna stick to a plate like that. Like that wouldn't even be something I would feed to like a dog or something. Like that's how horrible it looked.
So my thing is, first of all, if you already aren't the best cook, well, a couple things. One, he's a little high strung also because he was making me a little nervous. As well. And then also he came off kind of rude. He came off kind of rude a little bit to me. Some of the stuff that he was saying, sometimes it was like if I was a judge on that show, we would have been going at it a little bit. Erika, what did you think about him?
Oh, well, a couple things. One, I totally agree with you. He was the only person to me that I legitimately thought was really nervous and wasn't like acting. Unless he's a really good actor and he's trying to be this obnoxious, nervous person. But I was like, okay, and like you said, he was kind of rude every time someone was kind of, because even Robin, who was high strung, the judge was like, calm down. She wasn't like, look, don't tell me to calm down or whatever you were saying. He got an attitude with that judge a couple of times and he was the one literally freaking out. And it's like, okay. And fundamentally, if you're really a bad cook, kind of like Robin, it's like, to me, Bridget was the only one that I feel, it turned out crazy. And no, I see a couple people, they picked dishes that were reasonable. Like to me, how you ain't never cooked before and you trying to make fresh lasagna?
You gonna make your noodles? Who makes their noodles from scratch? If I'm on the clock,
you're making lasagna noodles from scratch and you don't even have any recipe for how much flour that goes into the pot, that goes into the dough to make a noodle? Like, that's what you did you ever, like, was your grandma in there making noodles, dude? Like, that's the part where I was like, okay, yeah, I feel like you're doing this for the show because this doesn't make sense.
That's a little bit of it's almost like he was setting himself up to have some drama. So I'll give you that.
Right, exactly, like at that point, but he didn't need that because he was crazy enough. So I was like, you
the drama. Exactly. Yeah, you are the drama. So now what did you think? First of all, do you make your noodles from scratch?
All the time.
Or would you do that on the cooking
It's called
show?
the black lasagna. No, I'm joking. I definitely wouldn't. I would have got the noodles from the back that they had all of the food ingredients. Right. It's not on my penny, so why not use it? And then
yes. And to agree with you, girl, and also there's an attachment that goes to the KitchenAid that makes the pasta. You don't just roll out the pasta and pull it out there. So I was like, okay, what are you doing? I'm sorry, Sinai, go on.
No, that was my other part I was gonna say. It's just like if you're gonna do it from scratch, you need to do it right. But what got me the whole time is how are you gonna get an attitude and you're the one they're trying to help you and let you know you're on the clock. And then the second part is I did relate to him when it came to cutting the lasagna and putting it on the plate because Lord knows You know, I take my before picture when it's still in the
pan.
In the pan.
But from the pan to the plate, a lot can happen.
A lot can happen. It's a big deal. So no matter how long you try to scoop to the thing, it doesn't
just
work.
Won't stay on that spatula the way it needs to.
It doesn't. So you can't, you know, I was okay with the look of it because I'm like, you know, sometimes from it getting there, the oxidation, you know, I gave it to him. But the fact that it started sticking, I can't help you on that one.
Well, what about my boy Dave Coulier, who we all know from Full House and Fuller House? I feel like he is one of those people that chose something reasonable, something sensible, where if you don't know how to cook, okay, I'm going to do Brussels sprouts. You just cut them up, put them in, season them, let them go. Like, he did this regular, basic, everyday stuff that I'm sure we all do. Alyssa, what were your thoughts on Dave Coulier? And did his dad joke get on your nerves?
It did, because I know him from, I've been a huge fan of Full House and Fuller House, and I know he made, you know, some cameos on Fuller House. And when he came on there, and even Johnny mentioned it in the beginning, like, we're tired of your jokes. Like, they were so in the 1990s, like, nobody cares what your dad jokes anymore. And it was like he was just focusing every time he was eating something or making something. It was just like a joke here and there. And like, he's funny, but he's not that funny to carry a show with all his jokes. I think he should just focus on the cooking and stop throwing. And it was like every single time the whole cut it out came like every 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
I'm like, we know, like enough with it already. So I hope next episode he kind of tunes it down a little bit, because I just think it was like way too much and it's going to get on people's nerves.
Well, you know, he, of course, he's a stand-up comic and he used to host the show. People don't really talk about this show anymore, but America's Funniest People, which is a little bit different from America's Funniest Home Videos. And that was on for at least like 4 or 5 years. So, you know, he has a really nice career. Erika, did you get tired of his jokes? Does he need to change his jokes? Did the voices get on your nerves?
Here's what I'm going to say. First and foremost, these jokes, I don't know, they're fine. But I want to murder one of those voices. At least one, if not two. I'm like, I can't, all these little fake, like, to me, he was definitely one of the people where I'm like, okay, I know you want to get road work. I know when we out of quarantine, you won't be back at the Improv, but you're doing too much. You just need to cook and, you know, maybe talk a little bit about your wife. If you got some kids, talk about your kids. But not this whole, every single second busting into your act, busting into your act, and you can't put no seasoning on your food, you got to do better. I can't.
You're supposed to be on the voices.
The voices,
I did too. I love the voices.
I don't know about y'all. I
hated the
it.
jokes, but I love the voices.
I loved it all. And I love the cut. What is it? Cut it out.
He said it too many times. It was
He's been doing this since 88. He's been doing that since 88.
And it's bringing in the check. I love it. You know, because that's his character. And that's what I first thing when I think of him, that's what I think, cut it out. Like, so I love it. It made me want to start saying it anytime I can. You know, now I want to start saying, cut it out. After Miss Rona, cut it out. Okay?
Okay, once she's gone, we need to be out of this place and in the streets. What do y'all think about Brian? Brian is a very interesting character. He likens himself onto a sloth.
That's funny.
But one thing I will say that I like about Brian, I feel like he's a lot smarter than people are like giving him credit for. And he really, even though he moves slowly, he kind of takes his time and like, I feel like he's trying to really process and figure out, okay, how do I do this? And that's a little bit of a stall tactic, the fact that he moves so slowly. So what did you think about Brian, Alyssa?
I love the sloth reference, and then it showed the sloth on the side, and it was like so slow because that's how sloths are in real life. But I agree with you. I think because he was talking about his son, I think it was, and then his wife, and he wants to be able to have dinner started when she gets home and be able to like show his son different things in the kitchen. I think that that's a good thing, and he's actually there to, hey, I want to become a better cook. I really want to try this. He already said that he can't multitask, so it's not like, I don't really think he's putting on a show. I just think that that's just legitimately how he is, and that he does want to be a better cook. So some people, I think they're kind of winging it. Some people are just there for like props for them to get more work or something, but he's legitimately trying to make stuff happen. And what he made wasn't horrible. I mean,
What
the
did he
judges
make? I'm
were
trying to
kind of like,
remember. What was his meal?
he made the rice with the kebabs, even though Anne was like,
that's right.
I'm not
That's
a
right.
huge fan of the kebabs.
That's right. That's right. She Anne said that she's not a fan of kebabs because usually the meat gets done and then the vegetables are still raw and it's just like not a thing. I thought it was just me because I too am not a fan of the kebabs. I will eat them. Hold on. Watch out. I will eat them because I eat just about anything. But it's not my favorite thing of things just because of that reason. I usually have a raw onion right next to a piece of meat and then like a raw bell pepper. I want everything cooked. What did you think about Brian, Erika?
I liked him. I feel like he's someone where I almost want to check out his stand-up because I feel like out of everyone, because really fundamentally you're there to kind of promote and kind of get your career popping. So I get why people are sort of over the top because they want to stand out and they want you to remember them after the show and follow them or whatever. But what I liked about him is kind of like Robin, his stuff seemed real. You know what I mean? Like he had some funny moments, but it didn't seem contrived. It didn't seem like, okay, I'm going to do this so I can segue into a bit. It just seemed like, all right, I'm moving slow, you know, and this, and this. And, you know, like his jokes, I feel like he's probably a really good comic because everything he did kind of felt natural because that's how you want your show to be. You want it to be real. You don't want it to be forced. And that's kind of, I felt like he was like, okay, I'm just going to bring who I am here. And that's part of being an actor or whatever. So I felt like whether it was real or not, it looked real.
Yeah, right. That part.
And I just felt like it was something kind of authentic about him overall that I really kind of appreciated, that it was kind of like a true kind of humor to him. And we found out about the family and stuff. And I'm trying to think. I think he did a decent job with the second dish the next day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting to see how they all grew. But yeah, I liked that he didn't try anything that was too kind of crazy. I mean, he didn't want to burn rice-a-roni, so that was good.
Right. Oh my gosh, the rice-a-roni.
Rice-a-roni. I like him.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Brian?
I really enjoy him and I love him. I am like one of the biggest fans of like really dry humor, like stuff.
Same.
I love that. Like one of my and just crazy stuff. Like I love The Big Bang Theory. My dad put me onto that show and I've been hooked. Like that show is so funny to me. You know, just dry humor to me is so funny. So the whole time where like probably no one was probably laughing at him, I was cracking the head.
I was too, me too.
Right, same. He had me rolling. Yeah.
He had me so weak, and I just love the dry humor stuff. So that, you know, he was my second favorite. And also, you know, his kebabs though were dry as well, just like the humor. It was no season, no juice, no like yummy goodness. Like it was bland. And that's just how I like my jokes. So but the
kebab, the fact that he said that his mother-in-law finally thought he was funny after 15 years of knowing
that's what had me cracking up.
Yeah.
I'm like Erika, I definitely need to look him up and look up some of his old comedy. And while I'm looking him up, I want you guys to make sure you hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on all things AfterBuzz TV and help continue make us the ESPN of TV talk. And if you're listening to us on any of the streaming platforms, please make sure to give us the 5 stars so that we can continue to bring you the best in talk. All right. So let's get into the last person. Save the most dramatic, most annoying person for last. Johnny Bananas, who you all know, or at least I know Johnny from the challenge. I don't know him from anything
in real
else.
world.
In real world. I don't know him from anything outside of MTV. But he is still that guy that he's still a ham. He still likes to be the center of attention. He still loves his alcohol. What did you think of Johnny Bananas, Alyssa?
Well, like you guys, I didn't know who he was before the show because I've never watched the challenge or anything else he's ever done. So I didn't know half of these people when I was watching the show. Well, maybe like 2 or 3 I didn't know. But I think it was so funny because first of all, he was just about the alcohol and making sure that they were having fun. And I was like, okay, you kind of get warmed up. Like I can appreciate that. But then it was even to the fact where the head judges, the chefs were annoyed with the fact that he was just playing around too much. I mean, he was doing the fire with the volcano. He was trying to throw food in people's mouths and things like that. And I get it. You want to have fun in the kitchen. You want to have a good time with your friends. But at the same time, it's like you're in a competition. You have 60 minutes. And the fact that he switched it for the second round, I was like, wow, that was a huge difference. And I think he felt like he would have gone home if he didn't, because they were not impressed with him at all, especially Tyler, the judge. He was like, you need to change this up because I am not loving it.
Well, you notice he was chosen. He was, they picked an order and they chose based. So
he chose second to last. So they did that little switch through with Sonja.
Right. They broke everybody else into teams. Ann and what's the name? Tyler. They are the ones that chose and set up their teams based on your performance. And Johnny Bananas was one of the last people chosen. He was the second before the last one. Erika, what did you think of Johnny Bananas? Did he annoy you like he annoyed me? And he is the person that's putting on the act. He is the one.
Oh yeah, like he's the worst. He's the worst. Like maybe his foolishness shaded me towards some of the other comedians, because I like some of the other people, I probably could have like stomached their little segues or whatever, but I was like, he's doing the most. And like, and like Alyssa, I haven't seen him on any other shows or whatever. So I didn't watch the challenge or some other things. So I wasn't really that familiar with him, but I was like, okay, I get it. I like that he was cool with Sonja because I like Sonja, I'm a fan of hers as well. I like kind of his interaction with people, but he was just
over the top
too much. I was like, okay, I mean, you got a job, right? Like, what are you doing? So like he was pushing it to the limit. And I liked that he showed some sort of like, okay, but I still want to win, and pulled it together for the second meal. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to see. You can do some little jokes. I don't mind you making drinks and stuff, but you kind of like just throwing it away so you can do a performance. Yeah, that's not really what we're here for. So I like that he got it together.
I think Johnny, like, he's a mental person, because this from playing the challenges, and he's won quite a few. Your mind has to be right. So John, that's why we saw that switch go off. When his mind gets into it, he's a whole different person. I feel like he's afraid of his greatness. What did you think, Sanaa, about Johnny and that switch?
Yeah, honestly, Johnny is a troll. I mean, that's just who he is.
Frat boy. He is a frat boy.
He is a troll. He is such a troll.
Not a troll.
He's a troll. He will troll you, and he knows that. He knows this, and he does this currently in the challenge now. If you watch the show and stuff, he does it now. He just is, and he's a big goofball. So like, I enjoyed watching him do the volcano, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna try this at home by any means, but this is how you do it. That's how they do the volcano. He and the catching the egg with the hat. I mean, I guess because I know Johnny, he wasted all them whole eggs.
Because who's cleaning this up? I'm not cleaning that up.
Right. And it's like, I kind of know. And because I know Johnny, it was kind of like I was okay with watching it. So, I mean, I'm cool with him making it to another round. I want to see what he can do.
Another round.
So what do y'all think about the teams? How do y'all think, like, now that the teams are settled, you have all the men on one team and all the ladies and Adams, what's his first name? Wells Adams. All of them are on another team. What are y'all thinking about these teams? These are closing.
Team Red is gonna win. Okay,
I think it's gonna be Team Blue. I think it's Team Blue.
Team Red.
Who team you on?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting, because I do feel like Robin is gonna go pretty far, because I feel like she
Erika's like Team Purple.
Team Purple.
Too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell. That's my answer.
Yeah, I agree too. I think it's too soon. I think definitely someone from both, they're going to get down to the finals. So I feel like some of them, I think, are better cooks than sort of they're letting on. But yeah, so we'll see. Because I think some of them flipped it too quick. Because I was like, okay, wait. Not that it's that hard to make a frittata,
but yeah,
several people's frittatas came out looking pretty. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like they might be hiding a little something. Let's
Mhm. I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. So since we're running out of time, I want you all to let the people know how they can find you, give them your social media information, and then also let us know what you're looking forward to. We won't do predictions, but what you're looking forward to in this season of Worst Cooks in America. And we'll start with Alyssa.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. And make sure you tune in every week on Monday night to see us. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Alyssa_Acosta. And what I'm looking forward to next week is seeing different dishes. I like how they did like a lot of a main meal, and then they did a brunchy one for the second one. So I'm excited to see if maybe they do a dessert or maybe something for lunch. So that's what I'm excited to look forward to.
Okay. And what about you, Erika?
Okay, you can follow me on all of my social media at ERIKAD as in Dort Edwards. And you can catch me here on Monday nights at 5 for Killing Eve after show, and Sundays at 9 for a couple of weeks for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I'm looking forward to, I don't know, to see who sets the place on fire. Which
Yes, we love a good fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's not a good show.
That's
If
going to
there's
be
not one
Johnny.
fire.
That's going to be Johnny.
Absolutely. And what about you, Sanaa?
Well, I am definitely looking forward to seeing how my girl Robin kills everybody in this competition because my money goes on her. So I'll be looking forward to that in Team Red all day because that's the winning team. And
Okay.
and
Y'all heard it here first.
you guys heard it here first, okay? I don't just say these things for fun. Also, you guys can find me on Instagram at IAM_SANA_ and on Twitter at IAM_Sanaa.
Yes. And of course, you can follow me on all social media at the Tyler Tyson. Make sure you guys check us out every Monday at 9 p.m. right here on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Shout out to all of our first responders out there. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.